Happened in the 90s.
No matter how long it takes to get your Diet Pepsi, don't worry. Great taste is always guaranteed.
Just made it!
Yes.
Ha. Straw?
This computer. No, that's interesting. Like the legality of a Weird Al.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you said he got into it with Coolio, but I mean, he never. It's like he was singing Michael Jackson song parodies, but not. I mean, I would think of anybody, that guy would be the one to sue you just because of how much money he was making.
Well, at the same time, because of how much money he was making, he probably shouldn't trip. It's not hurting my money.
I'll stop it. I mean, that's correct, but he is like an unsung comedic like entity of the 90s because he had all the music. And did you ever see UHF, the movie he did?
I think I did once. Kramer was in it.
Yeah, there was that. But I mean, that was funny. He had some good like shit in that. I mean, he was a funny, like, I guess, sketch comic if you judge that movie. But dude's
which brings me to
beast.
wonder. Yeah, which brings me to wonder, why has he ever hosted SNL? It's like, to me, that's a no-brainer, especially.
Has he ever even been the musical guest on SNL?
I don't believe so.
That is weird. Missed opportunity. Maybe he'll get it. They're putting stand-up comics on it now.
And I mean, I think we talked about this before, man. Like, who else is doing something or has done something and has made a career out of this? I
mean,
can't think
straight up parodying. I mean, he had comedy songs that didn't have anything to do with like established songs too. But yeah, when you think about it, if there was anybody, it's almost like what Carrot Top did to anybody that was using props. It's like, who knows? There's only one person. It's like Kleenex.
It's like you immediately pale in comparison. Like, why even dip your toe in this water?
Don't even try. Don't even start. Don't even sing or fucking fake I Got Big Butts parody song, Steve. Don't you fucking dare. Because you'll just be besmirching the good. You know, the closest I ever got to big Weird Al, Steve, is I had a mailman in LA that looked, I mean, identical to Weird Al. It might have been Weird Al. Maybe he just needed some side work, but that's as close as I ever got to the man, Steve. But I do love him.
You love him?
I love him. I love a Weird Al. I mean, I'm not gonna go like to the ends of the earth to see the guy, but I'm a fan.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely a fan, man. Wait, he did a Big Butts parody? He did a Sir Mix-a-Lot
I'm sure
parody?
he did. I don't know, but all I will say, the only thing negative I've ever had to say about Weird Al is I just could use less of his naked body. Because what I'm seeing behind you is just, I mean, I'm scared.
It takes a certain level of humility to show your flabby carcass around like this for the world to see.
I mean,
I applaud you.
Face down, ass up in that photo. I don't understand what's happening there, but I wouldn't do it, Steve.
Hey, man, but you're also not out of shape.
I mean, I guess we could argue about that, but I'm not. Whatever that is, I'm not that. That's scary. And credit to him for having the balls or lack thereof to do that. So here's the Weird Al.
It does the trick. It'll get you the laughs. It worked for Will Ferrell.
Oh yeah, weird fucked up body comedy. I love it,
man. It instantly gets the people on your side. For one, it's funny, and also there's a sense of empathy. Like, damn. Ugh.
Yeah, I remember when he used to like not Weird Al, when Will Ferrell would do that, like it was a character that was like some kind of scumbag guy that posed naked for like art classes.
That dude, yeah.
But he'd
With the
always have
beard.
like that weird like appendix scar thing. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It's like a fold, but it's a scar. I don't know what I mean. My body, Steve, if I take my shirt off, I look like ET stretched out. It's just not a good look, but you know.
He scratched out. Ugh. Not good at all, my friend. Not good indeed.
I'm not winning any beauty contest, but hey, that's not what we're here for, Steve. We're here to talk about the fucking 90s, bud.
Yes, we fuck are, man. And Kelly Bundy peggings.
Kelly is in full force in this episode, Steve.
And people don't know about that insider. The Kelly Bundy peggings. That should be a thing.
I mean, if you're willing to go for it, I mean, it just depends how much you love Kelly Bundy, but
oh man, I mean, that sounds like it's painful. I don't know if I like her that much.
These are some wild episodes. Steve. We get into some racy territory this week. At least for me, I was like, there's some questionable shit going on, and also cash grabbish shit. Because one of these things, I have a lot of negativity to spout out.
I got a feeling I know which one that is, and I can't wait to get to that. It's like a goose. What is it? What do they call them? Easter eggs.
Yeah. Well, there's plenty of Easter eggs, and they're all fucking rotted out.
Let's see if Steve can figure out Matt's Easter egg. Pause.
Boardwalk USA is back and better than ever. Boardwalk USA at McNulty's now combines the fun and excitement of high-tech video games inside with miniature golf, bumper boats, go-karts, and more outside. It's the best of both worlds, all in one location. Come on down to Boardwalk USA for big hours of fun, day or night, inside and out. Boardwalk USA at McNulty. Golf, game rides, food, and fun. Now we've got it all. Open 7 days a week. Located 1.4 miles east of Academy on Platte, across from the flea market.
Now, hey, boys and girls, this is Steve G and Matt G with Happened in the 90s, a show where we talk about things that happened in the 90s. So get out your Steve Weiserman jerseys and your good old answering machines, because I don't. It's the 90s, fucking bitches.
Kurt, you're welcome, bud. Shout out.
And Weird Al, yeah, you too, wherever you are. We're talking about all things April 14th in the 90s. Well, in 1990, April 14th, Saturday Night Live is airing the episode with musical guests The Smithereens and Corbin Burnson, guy from LA Law and Major League, the stuck-up one.
I think that's the only character he ever played, Steve, is an uptight, uppity. What he played in Major League was that might have been the man. I don't know. Maybe he wasn't acting at all. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he has the look of a just arrogant. He's probably friends with Jefferson Darcy. We're both handsome, middle-aged men. We got our top buttons unbuttoned.
No, what does that mean?
And they went a little meta with that. He speaks on it in his monologue. He's like, I'm not an arrogant, like, stuck up guy like that. And he I guess, he plays against the type, but, it's real tongue in cheek. But the main thing that stood out, there's a couple good moments in this episode. I love when Kevin Nealon does a Brent Musburger impression, because he goes so far as to make the droopy basset hound eyes. And it's like, oh, Kevin, you are fucking petty, but I get it. Brent Musburger does have those basset hound droopy eyes. Whoa.
I always hated when he was the announcer for college football, because inevitably he'd be talking shit about my team constantly. So
didn't he go to a Big Ten school?
I think he probably went to a fucking Ohio State, as much as he dick sucked them, but look at Steve. $40.
Shit.
Nah, fuck Brent Musburger. No, don't. I'm gonna stop saying that, but I got some hatred for Brent Musburger.
I don't like his basset hound droopy eyes. And if he went to that school up north, yeah, I'll smoke a bag of that. Fuck him. Now, 1992, Weird Al Yankovic releases the album Off the Deep End. And it's got, as you know, several parodies. Of course, it's a parody of Nirvana's Nevermind album. And he just kind of like slaps the grunge rock in the face. But I don't think anybody from that community took it that way. Like I said, Kurt Cobain, he actually took it as a badge of honor. Like, shit, Weird Al is ripping on us, despite the fact that it's
gotta love. I don't understand how anybody, you could make something right, and like a Weird Al, he's not going at you. He's not trying to make you look bad. He's just choosing your song because it's a pop culture like event, and he's making a polka version ridiculous. So I don't get how anybody. I don't know what Coolio's issue was. Maybe he's just like, man, fuck polka, fucking accordion. Who knows? But
well, what
I would take it as a badge of honor. It's like I said before we hit record. It's like South Park shitting on you if you get mentioned, or SNL to some extent if you still watch it. It's just like if you get shit on by them. I mean, fucking take it as a pat on the back that you're doing something right. You know.
Imitation is a form of flattery, dude. I would love if somebody parodied us. If we made it to a point where you get on YouTube and like, oh yeah, happened in the 90s parody. And then somebody's like, oh, hey, this is Steve G, man. You happened in the 90s. Like, oh my God, I want to kick that guy's ass. But that is my thing. I do have fucking Grand Arias.
Yeah, I have a pedo stash. I'm sure that would be made fun of. I get it. And I would enjoy it.
Think of this, Steve?
Hey, Steve. What's up, Steve?
Initially, you'd be pissed. We're like,
don't go too hard, you know. Like, but at the same time, I just, to me, when I just remember, even like you said, from the '80s when he was doing Michael Jackson shit, the guy was around forever. It's like throughout our childhood, and while it was never something I was gonna like bump in the car or anything.
Fuck no.
You enjoyed the shit. You laughed at it. You watched the video or whatever, you know.
And even in the videos, man, it takes a lot of they were really in depth, man. Like, I don't know, dude. Like, the dude was just a fucking genius, because he's like, on top of that, he's like a world-renowned polka player.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's some hack just like copying people's stuff. Like, I don't fuck with polka in any capacity, but that takes some level of skill, man.
Yeah, I have a weird like, I'm not going to listen to it at all, but at the same time, to watch somebody play accordion at all, I don't understand the mechanism. I don't understand what is making the noise and how you generate the noise exactly. I know basically what's going on there, but yeah, anybody that can play a weird instrument like this too, on top of having the wherewithal to make a funny song, write a funny song, be in the video. Like, he was, you know, it was very just a strange compartment of comedy that he's been in basically since we've been alive. You know, I think
much, man.
Basically,
like, he came in at the right, like, by the time I was able to like remember things, Weird Al was there. Like, Michael Jackson was already here, and then I remember Eat It, Who's Fat. That's probably one of my favorite Weird Al videos. And that's what I was going to say, man. Like, in his videos, he will take like things from the original and replicate it, but like make it fit within his parody in every little minute way within the video, man. And
I just wonder how much involvement he has in that, because he has like a brand that's never really changed. Like, it's never, even the look, like, it's always on point. And it's like, he must have, I wonder what the percentage is of, is he like behind the camera making the video, writing all of these things too? Is there a team installed, or is this all just coming out of Weird Al?
Well, the fact that he has a band, but it's called Weird Al Yankovic, people like that, I feel, are pretty hands-on. I'm sure he's very Trent Reznor about his shit.
Hell yeah. I mean, shit, it's working.
Yeah, it has for decades, literally. But in '94, on April 14th, Gone with the Wind becomes the first movie ever to air on the cable channel Turner Classic Movies. I don't know why they picked this movie. I guess it's to remind Americans how racist they used to be. We're not like that anymore. See this?
I never liked this channel, Steve. As a kid, I would watch some, like see it on my grandma's and flip right past it because invariably it would be like a Cagney and Lacey or some old ass black and white shit where I was like, this is like from the Depression. I don't want to watch this.
You said Cagney and Lacey. That's an 80s TV show with
I'm
two chicks.
just, I don't know.
You
I
mean James
said,
Cagney? See?
it sounded
Derek
old
doesn't
to
like
me
my
in my
movie,
head,
see?
Steve. But you know what I mean. Like invariably you turned it on and it would be like, oh Johnny, I don't know what's going on, Johnny. And you're just like, all right. WWF, where's that at? Fuck this.
Yeah. It shows some fucking Beavis and Butthead. But in 1995, Sister Sister is airing the episode Single White Teenager. Tamera finds a new buddy named Denise while Tia is sick at home, but the twins are freaked out when Denise begins to act and dress like them in order to secure their friendship. Man, let the cringe begin.
I don't know who wrote the. Do you remember the movie Soul Man, Steve?
I
C.
told
Thomas
you,
Howell.
the guy from The Outsiders. I have that on DVD. And it's one of the DVDs I decided to keep because I will never see this in stores ever again.
No, I mean I don't even know if you can. They used to even play this on Comedy Central, and that movie on Comedy Central. Anyway, all I'm saying, I'm bringing that up to say I think the guy who wrote that had like an assist in writing this episode because we get to a point here where,
Yeah,
I mean, Rachel Dolezal would blush.
man, I think we found our Easter egg.
I mean, it is wild. But before we get to that, you know, sister, we all love it. It's Tia and Tamera. It's
I know I love me
it's
some
twins.
Tia and Tamera.
I mean, I loved me, Tia and Tamera a lot back in the day. Had a lot of
Tennis
dreams
skirts,
about Tia and Tamera. Maybe some
long
inappropriate.
socks. Hell yeah. Mhm.
But this episode, unfortunately, Tia's a little bit sick, so she's gonna have to take a little rest. Tamara's obviously worried that her fucking second fiddle or whatever, you know, her twin is not going to be next to her. Like, this is what I don't like about twins, Stephen. What I think is exhausting if you are a twin. Can you not be separated? Is it impossible?
They're a part of your personality. You grow up with this person, looking at them in the face. It's like you're always looking in the mirror, and without them, it's like you don't even exist. Like you don't. I couldn't imagine having a twin, especially if that twin had all of their hair and didn't have big ears. I was like, you son of a bitch. We'd have a lot of fights. But yeah, like you said, man, she's stuck in bed full of salmon croquettes and fish sticks. And Lisa comes in with toast and tea and more salmon croquettes that she warmed up. I warm you up, Lisa. I had a crush on
I did too, Steve.
Jack A.
Hot mom. Hot stepmom.
Mama.
Stepmom.
She was the stepmom of the other sister. She was the mom of her kid, which was Tia.
Well, Jack Hay, she was in a lot. She was in like Ladybugs. She was always just like this little hot, like she was, dude.
With Rodney Dangerfield. Oh, hey, we got this Jack A over here. Oh, nice tatas on you.
Yeah, but I got to agree. And I mean, also bringing breakfast in bed when I was faking sick. I wasn't really sick, but I didn't get any fucking breakfast. I got some toast, maybe. I didn't get a fucking salmon croquette.
Dude, you pull the wool over your parents' eyes in so many petty ways. Like, you probably did not have to like lie to your mom to go see what is it, Wild Things? You probably didn't. It
was just like avoiding awkwardness, you know, or in like when you're trying to get out of school, just like trying to get out of school. But yeah, I mean, why have the conversation, Steve? Why be like, you know, Mom, I really want to bust nuts to this movie, so please just buy the ticket. You know what's gonna happen.
Well, I mean, not necessarily like that. Jeez. But now Tamera, without her cohort Tia, she's in science class and they're dissecting frogs. I remember watching shows like when the teenagers would be in class, you know, dissecting frogs or doing one of those. And I'd be like, man, I can't wait to get into high school so I can do that like they're doing in television. And then we got to science class. I'm in my teen age years and it's like, man, I suck at this. I'm going to fail in this class miserably.
Yeah,
I wanted to do this so much because I saw it on the sitcoms, but now I'm doing it and I don't know shit about this. I don't care. This shit stinks. Get this away from me.
Well, also, you know, when we did it in bio, I think it was biology class, we got a
Yeah.
dead frog. We got a frog that was dead. They give these kids a live frog that I guess they're expecting them to euthanize and then you know, dissect, which I thought was fucked up.
Yeah.
And Tamera also thinks it's, she's like, I can't do this. Then in walks Denise,
Yeah.
this little basic ass white chick. She's coming in late. Maybe she had a cigarette out in the bathroom, whatever, but she's coming in late. She needs a partner. So she partners up with a partnerless Tamera. T is not there. She fills the
Yeah.
void and they bond over loving. They name the frog, but they
Kermit.
can't. Everyone else has already killed their frog. They're dissecting it. They actually just throw the frog out a third story window to free it, I guess.
Yeah.
Possibly kill it. I don't know. They say it survived, but
They say that it hopped out and it's a third story. They didn't realize until after they threw the frog out that it's from the third story.
yeah. But apparently it survived. And when the teacher goes, "Hey, what the fuck? What happened here? That frog, that's a lot of money." And they're like, "Oh, he jumped out the window." And they're like, "How could that happen?" And they're like, "It was depressed."
It's not easy being green.
But back to what you were saying about dissections, doing the dissecting in class.
Yeah.
I was the same way when I saw it on any show, invariably
That
that
had
they
a
showed it
teenager.
on. I was like, I don't know what the specifics are, but this looks cool. You know,
Yeah.
I watch ER. I'm sure I could do some surgery, but then when you get into it, like it wasn't even just that I sucked at it, Steve. I didn't like it. I wasn't into it. I'm
Yep.
squeamish.
Everything about it was unpleasant. Like it had the whole class stank for weeks.
Yeah.
Like,
And you just have to like stop at a certain point. They would just like have open frogs sitting out. It's just like, this is insanity, guys. And the other thing that I remember being kind of like freaked out about in terms of our surrounding kids,
yeah.
I forget the name of the teacher we had in biology, but he actually took volunteers to go and what's called pith the frogs, which is kill them before you dice. They had live frogs and they had to kill them, I think.
Yeah.
So they actually picked kids that wanted to do that, which I was like, is it, to me now I'd be like, are you trying to find the serial killer kids? Is that what this is? Or are you just into finding psychos?
The ones who volunteered were the fucking nerds.
Yeah. But it's even so, it's like, what kind of sick sadistic nerds did we have? Because I'd be like, I don't want to kill, I don't want to jam a nail in a frog's head. Sorry, Teach.
Yeah, I mean, not only sadistic, I mean, they were nerds. Like they were nerds that didn't have shit else going on. It's like, man, you know, I could do this, or I could like go back to my gray coloring books when I get out.
Play some GoldenEye or just get out there and just do something else. But no, they, you know, but anyway, we were failing biology. Tamera maybe be failing biology with Denise, but you know, does that matter when you're starting to forge such a really good friendship, Steve? They really seem to be, you know, Denise is laughing at all the jokes. She's like loving the clothes. She's loving the fashion. Everything is just pro Tamera. And
Yeah.
she's, from my perspective, Steve, she's starting to get the claws in. She's starting to cling a little bit, just a little bit.
This is just the initial stage.
Yeah.
Now, back at the house, Lisa comes home and tells Ray that the old neighbors down the street just got robbed. And, you know, Ray instantly loses his shit. Like, damn, we in Detroit. I mean, I thought we moved away from this shit. We in the good part of Detroit. Shit.
Yeah. And, you know, I think she's trying to get some sort of neighborhood watch together, but right now
Yeah.
she's just more concerned with getting robbed. And they're having this conversation. And I think in walks Tamara and Denise.
Yeah, she liked Denise so much, she brings her back home.
Yeah. And Denise is, again, giving us indications of lurking, clinging, being an ugly Jason to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And, you know, she just basically it's one of those people that is just, oh, you're so cool. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly. I think the exact same thing. One of those people. So
Where did you get that shirt?
Exactly. That kind of thing. And also Tia's still just in the throes of what maybe she got an early version of COVID or something because she's out of the game for a while. She's recovering. So Denise and Tamera, the shit's just getting more in depth. They're just getting faster friends. So
Tia's being annoyed by Roger, who's trying to play doctor. I can't blame him. He's like, I just want to take your temperature. Bend over, girl.
Rectally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but who can fucking blame Roger, dude? You got two fucking identical hotties living in your neighborhood. I'd be trying to fucking be over there all the time, just like, whatever. But Denise is filling that void too. She's like, hey Tamera, where'd you get those socks?
I want the same exact one. They're having deep philosophical conversations, those thought-provoking exchanges that Midwestern teenagers have from time to time. They eat together, have burping contests together, stare at guys' butts together. They're bonding.
Yeah. It's getting really deep. And while that's happening, Ray and Lisa they get a meeting together of all the neighbors. And I think we sort of just see the end, but one of the people that I recognize instantly who's in attendance is the rapping granny. Mm-hmm. I know her from Wedding Singer. But she's there, and her husband are actually the ones who were robbed. And basically
Betty and Floyd.
Yeah. And they're basically just being downers, like, we're just lost everything. And I forget somebody's like, yeah, but you're lucky you didn't get raped and killed. Like, I think Lisa's saying that.
Lisa scares the living shit out of these old people. I mean, they stole their clapper. You know what I'm saying? How can Floyd clap them cheeks? You know what I'm saying? That was the whole, I'm gonna put some Epsom salt on this girl. Wait, hold up. I got them blue diamonds, girl. Clap. Clap. They took the fucking clapper. How Floyd and Betty gonna do this? You know what I'm saying? The lights just gonna stay off now. But giving Floyd an early heart attack, but
they're scared. And Jack A does nothing to make that even better. So they basically just send everybody on their way. But a neighborhood watch has sort of been organized to, thwart whoever's because there's some robberies going on. So they think that they maybe can like stop that, make the neighborhood safe and whatnot. And, again, Tia still sick, Denise still glomming on, and eventually Tia gets better. So all the bondings happen with Denise and Tamera, but Tia's better. And so a morning comes, she's ready to go back to school for her first day. Tia, Tamera back in it. They even have coordinating outfits. They're ready to go. And then as soon as they're about ready to open the door, they do open the door, and in walks in Denise, who at this point now they need to start getting concerned, Steve. She's done some single white female shit.
Well, hence the name of the episode. And Tia's just like, who is this bitch?
Yeah, like you didn't say any, like you guys are in the same room. I know Tia's sick. You didn't say anything about hanging out with Denise. She just like basically was ready to drop Denise like a bad habit as soon as her sister's back, which I get. But I mean, now Denise she's got the hair curled up. She has a perm. She got a white people's perm. She went and bought to a Benetton and bought the exact same outfit that they got. And, Tia's definitely, she's disgusted. And Tamara's like, what the fuck? Like, even she's scared. So what do you do, Steve? Like, this is an awkward situation. Well, how do you handle it?
You send her off to Roseanne to be her daughter's stunt double. She does look like that, the younger daughter right here. Yeah. When she gets the curls all done up and shit. Yeah.
I mean, there's a, like in the Connors, whatever it is now, I think who you're talking about, there's a girl that looks, I mean, it's that girl's daughter, but they look identical. So this chick, Denise, she's a triplet. And what makes this even more awkward is she's so identical to Tia and Tamera that Jack A and Ray walk in. And fucking Ray almost kisses the bitch. He's like,
Yeah.
hey, oh, you're not mine. What the fuck?
Yeah. And they're both like, isn't this the frumpy girl that was just here yesterday?
Is this that little homely white bitch that you had in here?
Yeah.
Oh,
The
fuck.
fuck?
And also, Denise is now saying, oh, hey, also don't call me Denise. Call me Tanya, because that's my middle name. So Tia, Tamera, and Tanya, and call the cops. Get a restraining order.
Not only are you weird, Denise, but your parents are too. Nobody names their child with a middle name Tanya. Who fucking does that? That's either a first name or all bets are off.
Yeah, and also, I mean, there's just so much happening here. I just, it is what it is. But she just did some hair stuff. It is whatever. But they can't get rid of this bitch now. Like she's just around all the time. She's ugly Jasoning them, Steve. We've been
Basically.
here.
And despite being kicked out of the lab group with Tamera, she still walks over to their table and she's like, so what are you guys doing after school? We're just hanging out at the house. It's like, oh, cool. I'll stop by. Just invites herself. It's like, oh, no. We mean the house next door. Oh, shit. I'll go over there too. Well, our neighbors don't like having strangers. Well, I'm not strange. And she's right. She's bizarre.
Yeah.
There's a difference. Now, in the teacher, she's discussing fungus and how it engulfs every square inch around it. And right as she says that, Denise, Tanya, wraps her arms around the twins, like you see behind me.
Yeah. And then it becomes like a crazy X situation where Tanya now is starting to leave like multiple voice messages on their answering machine. It's like, hey, this is Tanya. Just got out of the bathroom. Thought I heard the phone ring. Call me. Like over and over again. And it made me think of the movie Cable Guy or any movie where people are leaving a lot of voice messages. But yeah, at this point, either get the authorities involved or, it's getting dangerous.
Dear Tia, I wrote you, but you still ain't call me.
Hey, what's this note? Is she just leaving like notes written in blood? Like, hey guys,
we could have been together. Think about it. I hope you can't sleep in your dreams and you dream about it.
Yeah. And then actually when it gets to full bizarro level, then there's a day that passes and then Tanya shows up to school straight soul manned out, Steve. I mean, you could say she got a tan, but ain't no tan happen that quick, but she comes in blackface.
Well, before she pops up, Tia and Tamera, they're trying to pawn her off to Roger. They tell Roger about a friend that they know, and they're trying to set him up for a date. And Roger says, look, man, I already know how this goes down. If a chick needs to get set up for a date, she doesn't make the jeans jump, usually. Yeah. Despite that, he's still interested. Shit, what's her name? What's her number? And just like that, Tanya magically pops up breathing on Tia's neck. And not Hulu, not Amazon, Netflix, Paramount, or Disney Plus batted an eye as Tanya, formerly Denise, takes it standing to another level with blackface.
She does it, Steve. She does the unspeakable. She does what no one should. I tried to sit myself down. I paused the episode at this point. I said, let me just try to go at this from Tanya's perspective. What would lead me to think that me showing up like that, I mean, fuck
with my new black
Tamera,
friends.
Was the whole school not like, yo, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, because now even Roger's like, you know what? You look like that frumpy girl, Denise.
You look like that basic ass bitch Denise that I used to see fucking walking around. But damn, girl, it's pretty bizarre. But
and she bites their line. Go home, Roger. Like, bitch, you are not us. You ain't. That's what ugly Jason would do.
She starts doing all Roger, go home, you with your dusty ass. Tia, Tamera, let's go, girl.
Put
she
some
does
lotion on your hands.
So we're there now, Steve. Blackface, Tanya,
soul woman.
Yeah, and so we're there. But that line's been crossed, jumped over, and erased. And cut to Ray and Lisa now, who are, I guess, on first patrol on the neighborhood watch. And if this was neighborhood watch, fucking neighborhood watch, they're driving around the neighborhood, flashing a flashlight out of the window like some fucking scumbags. Like, I don't know what they're looking for. Like, I don't think that anyone's going to be that obvious, but they're doing that, Steve.
I doubt they have a gun.
Ray has this issue where he has, he has like an asthma attack every time like the shit gets real. And Jack Hay sees somebody that she thinks, she's like, oh, Ray, I see somebody. Stop. She has a fake cop light that she puts on. That's illegal, Jack Hay. I'm not against it, but that's illegal, bitch. And she's like, Ray, let's go. And you're going to die, guys. You're in Detroit. You're going to try to sneak neighborhood watch, arrest somebody that's breaking into, even if it is happening, which I don't think it is. This is illegal, guys. You guys got to rethink this.
And of all cities that try to be a vigilante, Detroit ain't one of them.
Especially when one of the people has a fucking panic attack whenever the shit gets real. You can't breathe into a fucking paper sack whenever you're about to get shot, Ray.
Yeah, dude. And,
but what happened, Steve, is they didn't. Well, maybe they did see something, or maybe they didn't. But they sneak up to the house that they think is being robbed. They look in the window, and couldn't be creepier about it. And then as soon as they're like at the window looking in, bam, like 6 cops just draw guns on these motherfuckers.
Fully drawn, just ready.
And Ray, probably shit himself. I don't know. I don't know what happens at that point, Steve. I think they cut. So
yeah, the fingers were itching on those bad boys.
Yeah, it almost got real. We almost had 2 orphans and a blackface triplet, and that's all it was, Steve. But they didn't die. But they do. I'm assuming they were arrested or at least questioned by the police.
Taken in.
So T and Tamera say, cut to T and Tamera. I think they're outside Denise's house, and they've agreed to sort of confront Denise about what's going on. Because now they're like, this
it's getting out of hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're going to her basement, and they don't know what to expect. So they go into the basement, and to set her straight, they see a collage made of different pictures of them. Like, damn, how do you get these pictures? And I think I saw some voodoo dolls made of them. Maybe a diorama of Detroit made out of Tamera's used tampons too. Like, what the fuck? What is going on? This has to end.
And also, it doesn't help that the mom bringing them down to the basement is creepy. And then they see this insane shrine to them, which is this is where you just run out of the house. You don't even wait. But they don't run, but they don't even run when Denise comes out of nowhere with a fucking knife.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I got some brownies.
Bitch,
get the fuck.
You don't need a knife that big to cut the fucking brownies.
You can cut it, bitch. You can I'll grab one. You can use a butter knife. You don't got to bring fucking Jason's cleaver down to the fucking brownie pan. Jesus.
Bitch, you can cut brownies with a spork. I've done it.
I mean, guys, Denise came in with the energy of
Mike Myers,
psycho fan. Yeah, like Selena's fucking, best and greatest fan. I mean, she was about to. They think she's gonna do her in, and they're gonna get killed. But
yeah,
Denise is just like, guys, what's going on here? What's weird about all this? What's weird that I have a shrine to you guys, that I have voodoo dolls made of your pussy blood on my wall?
Yeah,
what's wrong with that?
Yeah, that seems a little off. You're not strange, but you are bizarre. Denise, Tanya.
Wipe the blackface off, and then maybe we can talk real, okay?
She went to a tanning salon, though, Matt. That's what it was. That's how they explain it.
Yeah, that's a nice base you got there. Well, how long were you in? 8 hours? Jesus Christ.
8 days. She feels betrayed because he's like, when your sister came back, you just, gave me the shaft. But
also she's like too blasé about everything that's going on. She's like, it's all a joke, guys. Like, I just thought you're taking this the wrong way. I was just calling myself Tanya because I thought that was funny. Like, I thought you think it was funny. It's like, no, bitch. like this you ain't making it out like a joke here. And also you change the color of your skin. That's not
Yeah. Like you can't just completely victimize yourself. Like, okay, you didn't have that many friends and you're your only child. You needed some companionship, needed some homegirls. But bitch, you darkened your skin. How dare you? You're
yeah,
lucky
like
you
you could come over and hang out. Like you don't got to do all this. Like what?
yeah. You don't have to switch up your wardrobe and change the color of your skin. Like you're lucky you didn't get jumped. We're in Detroit, bitch.
Yeah, this is that weird like place you get with people where they gaslight you. It's like when somebody freaks out after getting like gaslit and like fucked with for a while, and people are like, "Hey, dude, why are you getting pissed off, man?" It's like,
Yeah,
cause
like,
you're fucking
you're a fucking
weird.
asshole. Yeah, dude.
So
Just like ugly Jason. It's like, dude, you know what? People aren't mean to you because you're ugly. It doesn't help that you're ugly, but you know, it's your insides are ugly.
yeah,
On top of being hideous.
there's an inner ugliness that we were talking about. But
Yeah.
T and Tamera are such good people that they hear this critique or accusation and they actually feel kind of bad about it. Like they leave, they go home and they're in bed and Jack A's eating a turkey leg and they're kind of going over, they're decompressing from it, but they feel bad for what they did, even though the bitch is a psychopath.
Yeah.
You know? So
Fucking standing.
yeah, she 3 more days of that, and one of them would have been in the ground dead, and she would have just been trying to take her place. That's where this all leads, Steve.
Shit. She would have been literally wearing her skin.
And they feel bad, and they didn't know what to do. And Jack A says that, you know, maybe just apologize to Denise. I don't know if Jack A understood the full breadth of what Denise did, but she's like, apologize and just see what she says, which is pretty good advice. I mean, that's pretty standard. I wouldn't apologize though. I'd be like, oh, by the way, she did blackface. And I feel like then Jack A would have been like, oh, fuck that bitch. You know, slap her, do something else. But apparently they're going to fucking apologize. And something happens also where I don't remember when it happens in the breadth of this, but Ray and Jack A catch the robbers, Steve. So I forgot. I think I fucked the timeline up on this.
Well, they come home from whatever, and Floyd is already in the living room. Like, motherfucker, like, we locked our doors. How the fuck you get in here? Lisa and Ray, they see this, and as they're talking to Floyd, Betty comes down the stairs carrying some hot merchandise, dressed like a cat burglar, and we find out that the sweet old couple ain't as sweet as we thought they were. And as Lisa and Ray are processing this, Betty backflips the fuck out of there like Rob Van Dam, and Floyd out of nowhere becomes spry, and they both kick up dust. Like, where the fuck did this come from?
Rapping Granny's got those fucking skills, Steve.
Fuck. Who was the kid from Ninja Turtles and like Three Ninjas or whatever?
Oh, Ernie Reyes Jr.
Ernie Reyes, man, he's blushing. That probably was him. Like anything acrobatic like that in the 90s, it was Ernie Reyes. Like, you know, they don't have to know it's you. Put on this turtle suit, you know?
Yeah. Put on this gray wig. You're rapping Granny now, Ernie. Do it.
You're the same height as her.
Basic. So Kino, you know, did some work right there, but yeah, this is a fantasy of mine to be an old scumbag person like this. I love the idea of some old people just trying to throw some grifts down or like just do some hardcore shit in their old age. I love it.
And also, dude, okay, you escaped Lisa and Ray this time around, but motherfucker, they know where you live. You like, they know your address. Like you, unless you're on the move. But yeah, man, they're back in class now, and you know, T and Tamera, they try to make amends with Denise, and all is forgiven. You know, they're a trio, or a 2.5, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And out of nowhere, Kermie the Frog comes back. He's from the ground floor to the third floor.
Exactly. And I didn't even write that down, but now that you say that, I was like, wait, did it crawl up the fucking Did it scale the walls, Steve?
Are we supposed to forget that fun fact in the lines in the script? Like,
It's meant to happen. He's Freddy the fucking miracle frog, apparently. But this is what they needed, Steve. This is what brings them all. They're like, oh, you know what? Fuck the blackface shit. You're cool.
don't ever go back to that tanning salon. And it's something about those Detroit frogs, man. Maybe it was Michigan J Frogs, one of his people. It's open up a WB.
He's drinking that Flint water and he's got superpowers, basically. That's what it
you
is.
had to go there. You had to go there, huh? Okay. But yeah, they decided to keep Denise around, and the closing credits, they picked Betty and Floyd out of a lineup, which wasn't hard to do because none of the people in the lineup look alike. There's an Asian couple, there's a black couple, and then there's Betty and Floyd, an old white couple. And it's just like they see them, and Ray's like, dude, you're wearing my shirt.
I wrote my name on the tag. You can check.
For real.
Yeah, and Jack A notices an old Puerto Rican friend of hers from back in the day in the lineup too. They catch up. They have some good old times.
Yeah, telling some cocktails.
Wild, Steve. Wild. That's what happened. April 14th, 1996, 95.
95. And we were in 6th grade on our way out to junior high. Now, you know who probably didn't watch this episode of Sister Sister in 1995, Matt?
A lot of people.
Yeah, probably American football player Buster Mayberry. I mean, Baker Mayfield, as he was born on that day, April 14th, 95.
That's so fucked up that he was born then. But I mean, this guy is not even he's former quarterback, Baker Mayfield, at this point, Steve. The man's jobless.
Well, until he joins the Steelers.
He might now. I'm rest in peace to that one guy. We got to fill him. That sucks, dude.
Go Ohio, man. Former Buckeye. And it is unfortunate because we don't know the full details, but he got hit by a dump truck on the interstate. I don't know why he got out of his car, maybe to inspect it, something, or like they say he was running across the interstate. I don't know how we got there. But anyways, man, there's a slot open, and Karen, the Karen of quarterbacks, I like the fact that, dude, you are already on the trade block, dude, and the fact that you're demanding it, you're like, dude, say less. Like, dude, I demand a trade. Like, motherfucker, we already trying to figure some shit out for your ass. Like, you're not gonna be here next year.
I just like he demanded a trade after they got his replace. He's like, oh, you know what? You disrespected me by hiring somebody way better than me. I want to trade. Like, okay.
I need to call your manager. Bitch, I am the manager, the general manager.
Yeah, dude. I feel like, I don't know. Like, I don't think he's that bad of as bad as people say he is, or want to want to say
Johnny
he is.
Cocaine.
He's just like, he's one of those just second stringers. Like, he was never meant to be a first string. He's Case Keenum. He's going to be one. Maybe he'll have a first string job every once in a while. He has some talent, but the attitude does not match the fucking talent level. And
a fucker like this,
he got cursed with being on the Browns too. And there's a certain curse there with quarterbacks where, I mean, I feel like the same thing's going to happen to Deshaun Watson. Watch.
Yeah. I mean, he's starting off on a rocky note, man. But a fucker like this, watch, he'll end up being on a Super Bowl team, because didn't that happen to Case Keenum?
Probably. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it, but he's going to be on a team. Maybe he'll be on the Steelers. I don't know. But I find it more heartbreaking to know that we're at the stage of our lives where, people we're rooting for are a good 10 years younger than we are now. And it just makes me feel old, Steve. What can I say?
Well, just like the Lord giveth, he taketh. Because on that same day when Buster Mathis was born, Burl Ives, American actor and folk singer and writer, born in 1909, he passes away.
They had to make room for Baker Mayfield, Steve. Oh, look at that guy, the snowman.
Yeah, he was the narrator of those classic Christmas cartoons that we would watch, man. They would show annually Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and a couple of others from that era, man. And he was the voice. He was the narrator. But he was also known for live action movies as well, man. Like I said, born in 1909, died in 95. So
I'm killing, dude. People like my grandma. I had a grandma that lived to be 104, and I think she was born in like 1904. But it's like people born in that decade, just hard as fuck. And also, I just have to point out, did they make the snowman in his image? Because he almost looks like it's like they turned the human or snowman human almost. It's bizarre.
yeah, that had to be some influence, make it, a little bit more humanistic, I guess.
I mean, that guy's. I love those movies, Steve. Those have a big place in my heart. I used to watch that shit all the time.
I have those on DVD. Had to keep them.
Yeah.
There's like in a box set. There's like all of them, man. But that following year, 1996, Married with Children is airing the episode Enemies. They're in season 10, and it's a spinoff episode. And Kelly dates a man who is only using her to get back to his ex-girlfriend, Tom, a delivery man who lives with his girlfriend Shannon, and his sister Maria, and her boyfriend Jackson, an out-of-work sexy guy. This episode focuses upon the conflict between Shannon and Tom.
I didn't care for this, Steve. I didn't like this. We didn't get a lot of our favorites, and all we got was a shitty other alternative sitcom with a Guido and a chick from Baywatch.
How you doing? Now, this episode does not feature Miss Segal. She was giving childbirth at the time. So it's like those Martin episodes without Gina. No Peggy Bundy.
There's just like there's like a weight is missing from this. It's just we get Al at the beginning. He's on he's there. We get Kelly and Bud. They're watching TV. They're shitting on Friends,
which I do appreciate.
I do. I love it too. And it's crazy. They were around when Friends was around. You don't think of them as like contemporaries at all.
You know what else is crazy? Just last week, we were talking about Matt LeBlanc's spinoff episode, Top of the Heap of Shit, which only lasted like 6 or 7 episodes. We were just talking about that last week. Fast forward into 1996, and the Bunnies are shitting on his probably most famous work ever. It's like a Bundy inception of sorts.
That is kind of, I didn't even think of that, but they are shitting on, shitting on it. I mean, I think they even say Friends. I think they're naming it by name.
Because we start the episode off with Bud and Kelly watching Friends, followed by the making of Friends, followed by the 10 o'clock news where the cast of Cheers talk about their favorite episode of Friends. And then Al comes in to a big pop, as he should. They're 10 seasons deep. We love the man. And, he's like, Friends, don't have them, don't need them. Sure as hell don't want to watch them. You tell him, Al. I don't either. So,
excuse me.
So Al, he takes the remote, turns the channel, and it's the show Buddies. He turns the channel, and it's the show Homies. And then he turns to the Spanish channel, and it's Amigos. And then he turns the channel, and they're showing Geezers, starring Bill Cosby. And then he just turns back to Friends, sponsored by the New Friends Las Vegas Hotel and Casino. And Kelly wants to go.
Everybody's into Friends, but not Al. Fuck Friends. He hates Friends. He doesn't need them. Like you said, fuck them. Bud goes down to the basement to crank one off, and he's got no interest in Friends either. And then the bell rings, and in walks Tom, a Guido delivery driver. Hey, I got a package for Al Bundy, and he has I think it's like a sex machine. I don't know what it is, Steve.
It's a delivery of Biggins popsicle molds. Biggins is Al's favorite magazine. It's their universe's version of Playboy or Hustler, and it sounds very sick. It's the 90s era of pocket pussy, or the 90s version of the pocket pussy. Wash that shit. It's going to create a stench.
But he's got to go up and fuck those, whatever that is, Steve. He's got to go fuck that fake pussy. So Al runs off, disappears, leaving Kelly with this fucking Guido ass delivery driver who's just like, hey, what's up? And he just sits down, and within like 5 minutes, I mean, we all know what Kelly's like, Steve, but Tom or whatever the fuck, he's Guidoing out and he's about to fucking make out with this chick
in no time.
A delivery driver, Steven. I was just like, hey, I don't fuck my daughter. I don't give a fuck. I gotta go put my dick in this plastic thing real quick. I can't think of anything else.
Some popsicle molds. That sounds horrible. And, you know, he picked the right one because he's got some basic game. He stares at her tits. She stares at his name tag. He's like, oh, okay, Tom. He's staring at her tits. And she's like, well,
your name's Tom.
Yeah. And she's like, I don't have a name tag. And he's like, I wasn't checking for a name tag. And then, like,
I was checking at those tits, baby. That's all it is, Steve. It's just pure Guido energy.
And we find out that he's got a girlfriend. Kelly doesn't care because she's a bimbo.
But Tom, Tom's beeper goes off, and he's like, God damn, it's my fucking broad. She's always thinking I'm cheating on her. Oh, gee, Tom. Why? Because you're delivering a dick everywhere? You're supposed to be delivering a package, bitch.
And then we cut to Tom's house, and his girlfriend Shannon, she's taking a quiz out of Cosmo magazine, and one of the questions is, how many times this week does your man come home late with a lame excuse? And right on cue, Tom comes home and says he got the clock in the truck confused with the speedometer.
And turns out, Steve, what's her name? What's her real name? Nicole Eggert, correct?
Nicole Eggert from Charles in Charge. I'm sure Scott Baio was hitting that with his sick ass.
Oh, Scott Baio was him and fucking Buddy were just straight tag teaming that.
And I gotta say, her acting sucks in this episode. It probably sucks in general because I don't see her in much, but she's hot in this episode. I'm not gonna lie to you.
She's hot. She's just like hot trailer trash. She's like that. Remember that My Name Is Earl show? That chick on that.
I just got a crush on her.
I did too. I mean, it was the accent, and also Poison Ivy, whatever she was in, she was hot in.
And Varsity Blues.
Yeah. Oh, she was in that too, wasn't she?
With the fucking icing and the fucking nipple.
No, that wasn't her.
That wasn't her.
Chick. There's different chick. I know all white people do look the same, Steve, but that's not the same chick.
Ringmaster. I got it mixed up. She was the one that was getting it in with Michael Jai White.
Yes. There you go.
And she was trailer trash in that one. It was her and her mom basically, competing with each other. And
that's always her brand. She's like a hot ass trailer trash piece of shit. I mean, I'm all about that. I enjoy that.
She does it well.
I agree. Nicole Eggert, she couldn't act her way out of a paper bag. Shannon, she's playing Shannon. And Shannon, not only is she fed up because she just got this lame ass excuse, she's been following Tom the whole day. So she knows I saw you go into that house, Tom, with that hot blonde. She saw it all, Steve. She's been stalking this motherfucker all day. So she's fed up.
And they get into an argument, and Tom's sister, Maria, comes out looking cocaine Michelle Pfeiffer, skinny as fuck. And she's like, oh, you and my brother got into another fight, huh? And while they're talking about that, she's waxing her legs. It's like, bitch, y'all just fought. Why are you waxing your legs? Well, Tom likes smooth legs. And if we're breaking up, the next person I'm going to be with is going to like smooth legs. It's like, damn, you about this life.
Tom comes back with some roses, Steve. Shannon, not having it. She
Fresh
puts
from
them
the
down
gas
the fucking
station.
garbage. I think he picked them out of the front yard, whatever. She's not having it. She's fed up, Steve. Also, just again, what we're seeing also, I just like to point out, is basically a white trash version of Friends.
Yeah.
All these people just suck living together. There's the cocaine brunette chick, the stepsister, I believe is who she is. Yeah. There's Jackson, the sexy guy who just, I think, lives behind a towel.
Yeah, he serves no other purpose in this episode, but just to come out in a towel.
Just to get played real quick and then disappear behind a towel. And, it's really just now Shannon's fed up. And she's like, I had big dreams, Tom. I shouldn't be with some loser like you. I need to be with some rich, successful, motivated, individual, not some fucking truck delivery driver that's fucking all the trash, on his route. So she leaves, and Tom's crushed because he can't even say, "Wait, come back." He's like, "We haven't had sex today." That's all he's got, Steve. So I mean, I kind of get where Shannon's coming from.
But players bounce back like round ball, and he's not really torn. Shit, he goes to the bathroom and he preps up, gets chachi as fuck. Got his sports jacket, got his 2 buttons undone, and he's like, "Shit, I want that Bundy girl for some Christina apples."
Kelly, sup? Remember me? I'm that guy that almost stuck my dick in you earlier today. You want to go out on a date?
Yeah, delivered them titty magazines to your daddy.
So Tom's got Kelly. Shannon's got options. She's got options galore. She's a hot, blonde, I guess, somewhat built chick in wherever they're at, Chicago, I think.
Yeah.
And it's cut to this diner, owned by a black guy. I forget his name's, what is it? George, yeah. George.
And he also was in the Wayans brothers.
Okay.
In the later seasons, he was like a played out pimp that was like friends with Sean and Marlon.
Well, in this, he's a successful business owner. He's got a burger joint. This is where the date, Tom and Shannon's dates are going to be occurring. But before they show up, Marcy and Jefferson have to show up.
Yeah.
And just really paint on some really overt racism onto
getting
this
their
episode.
Denise on.
I mean, hey, bro, a lot of hey, G, a lot of those kind of things get said.
Marcy says this is a real soul experience, and her and Jefferson are down with the people. And he's like, you didn't bring that expensive watch in here with you, did you? And he's like, yeah, I sold that shit at the pawn shop. I mean, no, it's not with me. And then Marcy, she calls George up, the black waiter, and she says, yo, bro, we're new to the hood. What can you recommend? And he's like, hamburgers. And he's like, we were expecting something more. Down home. That's what Jefferson says with his hat to the back, mind you.
Yeah.
And all of this shit is hilarious. I love when, like super white, the Caucasianness of Caucasians, when they do this type of shit, it's just it's cringe, but funny at the same time.
I mean, a lot of like, thanks, bro. A lot of that shit, like,
we're just going to ease on down the road. Like,
but this is the only reason this is the only purpose they serve. And they're like, he's like, you know what you're going to get? I know what you want. You want a burger. So take these fucking burgers to go and get the fuck out of my diner, basically. Right. So, I respect that, George. I like
Marcy likes the collard greens, oxtails, and moon pies. And George is like, I'm glad you've seen Martin. Take these burgers and get the fuck out of
here. So they leave, and in walks Tom and Kelly.
Yeah.
Kelly looking fine as fuck. Tom Guido'd out. He's put on his best suit jacket and sweatpants combo or whatever he's got on. So they're going to go out on a date. But in walks Shannon. Shannon's got a familiar face from the 90s. Little Alan Thicke action.
Oh, no, you're talking about Henry. Yeah.
Yeah, Henry. And Henry's he's like a rich Chicago baller, little older, little wiser, but he's got
sugar daddy style.
He's got a Jag. He's got a fucking knot. He's ready to fuck, Steve.
My other car is a yacht.
Yeah, he's not afraid to tell you how rich he is. He's one of those guys.
Show me that smile again.
Show me that titty. And this initiates basically now Tom and Shannon, are just trying to outdo each other. Whether it's, flirting or full on just straight up fucking on a table. It's after a certain point. I mean, it gets to that point, Steve, where Alan Thicke is dicking down Shannon on a tabletop while 2 elderly people watch. And
free show. And Shannon's like, I want to get it in the bathroom. Like, oh yeah, say less, bitch. So Tom invites Kelly into the men's restroom. Now, while Henry and Shannon, they're in the other room, and Henry's like, you reminded me of my 4th wife's daughter. And so Shannon, she starts making noises in the restroom, and Tom hears this, and he starts rocking the trash can and saying, "Kelly's the greatest." Oh yeah, yeah. Who's your favorite new kid?
I'm
Call
gonna
me Donnie.
bust.
Call me Joey.
Just really screaming. I mean, to the point where even the people outside the bathroom, which already got a show, they turn the old people on, and the old lady looks over and is like, do you realize also, Steve, just a quick call out, the old woman from this was actually in Black Sheep. She played a very small role in Black Sheep, where Chris Farley tries to get her to vote, and she slams Chris Farley with a cane in the she was in it. But in this, she's like, take me, Earl.
Yeah. Edwin. That's
what it is. I knew
it was a baby boomer name before baby boomers. Edwin.
So everybody thinks like the ultimate fuck sesh is going on outside, but inside it's just Tom banging against a wall, Shannon like banging against the cupboard, Kelly and Henry just like, the fuck is going, just real confused. And I think I think Shannon's like, I'm gonna, and Tom's trying to like edge audibly too, and then he just gets fed up and breaks through the wall. Steve, he summons all of his Guido energy and breaks through a wall
with the fucking trash can. How thin are those walls?
I mean, he's Chris Jerichoing the situation. Break the wall. He could have used his dick. Yeah. He could have done, who knows what could have happened here, but he breaks through the walls, Steve. He fucks George's restaurant up. I mean, there's some real structural damage done, and him and Shannon just embrace and start making out in front of Henry and Kelly, who
breaks down some more walls.
Yeah. And then Henry's like, hey, Kelly, you want to get in a jag and shag?
You deserve a man who respects women. Hey, nice legs.
Yeah, who a man who will try to finger you on top of a diner table in front of everybody. But hey, that's that they apparently Tom and Shannon had this show continued, would have been together and fighting and very much doing like an Al and Peg as young people situation. Like that's really all this is.
They really tried to spin off this show and make another version and try to bastardize it, just like they did with Top of the Heap. It's like, no, it's not the same dynamic.
It's really, and it's like heavy-handed. It's just like almost, if you didn't tell me that this wasn't like a pilot for a show, that shows you, I would just be like, oh, it's a bad episode. But knowing that, it's just like they had such little confidence in it that they just made it an episode of this so they could be like, we saw it, we're not going to move forward with it. But this shit was fucking, this is worse than the Sisters, Steve. This was worse than that.
As far as performance, or just, are you talking overall?
Just trash, like, well, obviously because of performance, because Sister lasted forever, but this, just a hard miss. And the fact that they had to like take away an episode of Married with Children and just give us that shit heap, it just pissed me off.
Well, I mean, I think a big reason, Katie Seagal, she was out of commission because she was pregnant and giving birth, whatever. So they have to figure out ways to get around it. Kind of like the Cosby Show when Felicia Rashad was pregnant, they would do only like chest up shots, or she would be in the bed and they would take like a portion of the bed out to where you don't see the hump.
It is crazy how sometimes they have to avoid doing something because of a real life situation. That is kind of crazy. You do see that in shows. And Katie Seagal, it's like, I mean, really, she's like half of the show. Well, her and Al's relationship is why you watch. Other than wanting to fuck Kelly, and shit like that, is like, that's why you were watching for me.
It's not called Single Dad with Children.
Yeah, exactly. So, it is what it is. You got at least they didn't have to spend enough money to like make 5 of these. They did 1, and I'm hoping that's it, because this was some hot trash. So
yeah, the producers were like, nah, this shit ain't gonna last. It's gonna be another top of heap of shit. And Kelly brings Henry back to the house and introduces him to her father. Al's uninterested. He's watching his new favorite TV show, Friends. And Kelly says, I thought you hated this show. He says, I do. But if you mute the sound and watch with binoculars, you can see that Jennifer Aniston isn't wearing a bra. And apparently, there are times when Jennifer Aniston wasn't wearing a bra on that show. I wouldn't have known, never watched the show, still won't. And now Henry, he pops a squat next to Al, who offers him the binoculars and says, "This really is must-see TV. Show me that smile again." R.I.P. Alan Thicke. You're a fucking legend. You're a beast in the game. He wrote a lot of the jingles that we grew up watching. He did the Different Strokes theme song.
That's
now
crazy.
The world don't move to the beat of just one drum. He had soul. Alan Thicke, if you were still here, you get a seat at the table.
I mean, shit, he nutted and created a musical artist. I mean, say what you will about Robin Thicke, but that motherfucker was, you know, he had a couple of fuck songs.
Dude, his first album, beginning to end, fuck universe. Like, turn that on and we ain't wearing clothes all day. Come here, bitch.
I didn't hear a lot. I mean, I've heard a few Robin. I remember the one he did with Pharrell. That was just kind of like a poppy song. Yeah, I mean, I like that. But I mean, the dude Alan Thicke, just can we get this guy like a plaque or something? Can we get him he's not a living legend, but we need some sort of Mount Rushmore. And it's crazy that not only was he an actor that was so prolific at that time, he was writing fucking jingles and theme songs to shows. That's bizarre and awesome.
That he wasn't even in, like, just getting them checks, man.
Different Strokes. You're right, dude. That's fucking nuts. But hey, he's got the voice, Steve. If he wasn't an actor, the dude would have been like a radio DJ or some shit.
Jason, he once again, Canadians are cool.
Eh?
No. You know who probably wasn't watching this episode of Married with Children in 1996?
Who, Steve?
Probably Steve Yzerman in the Detroit Red Wings, because they won an NHL record, 62 games.
Stevie Y.
Captain,
I got his autograph at a Sherwin-Williams, Steve, in Toledo, Ohio. Stevie Y.
Dude, that is one of the blessings of being raised in the Northwest Ohio, man, especially during this time, because the Red Wings were a dynasty. 96, this is the beginning of this era, man. They won I think this is their first Stanley Cup of many. And dude, like, even as a person who didn't watch hockey, I appreciated what they were doing in the area, man. And like, I had friends who were Detroit Red Wing fans, man, and they were just elated, man. It was just a good time for Red Wings. And I mean, it's the most poppin' hockey city in America, Detroit, man.
I'm like you. I've never really liked hockey that much, but I had a friend who played hockey and loved the Red Wings.
Yeah.
And I remember watching like the NHL finals with this shit with him because he was so into it. And also, I used to love me some NHL video games. There was a couple of good like EA games, and Eric Lindros actually had a dope ass hockey game called like
Sega?
I think it was on N64, if I'm not mistaken, but maybe that was Wayne Gretzky. I forget who it was, but there was a dope ass N64 hockey game too. But yeah, dude, the Red Wings, if I liked a hockey team, it was either them or the Philadelphia Flyers are one of the few teams from Philly that I'll say I like just because of Eric Lindros, and then the Broad Street Bullies, that shit from the 80s, because that's dope.
Now, 1999, American football player Chase Young is born. Another Buckeye. Nook if you buck. And
this motherfucker is really good because he beat he single-handedly beat the Steelers. Like, I think last year, if we played him, it was very recently, because I remember being like, who is this guy? And can we get a roid test? Because he's killing everybody. He's killing everyone.
A one-man army, man. You know,
he's a linebacker, right? Or is he is he on the line?
He's a linebacker.
He's a linebacker, dude. He's just a beast. I mean, I can only see it like his arms and chest, but the guy is a straight demon. So,
he's a defensive end.
I was gonna say, I thought he was like an edge rusher. He was like, because he just, I mean, like I said, he single-handedly beat the Steelers. So that's not saying much, but the guy's a beast, and he's successful on Washington, which is hard to do. So
the football team, what are they called now?
They're the
Senators.
Commanders now,
Oh,
Steve.
the Commanders. Yeah.
Forget all that other shit. Forget the legacy. It's the Commanders now.
Commanders start a legacy of losing now, just like my Guardians. Now, on that same day, when Chase Young was born, we lose another one. American television announcer Bill Wendell, born in 1924. Now, immediately he doesn't, you don't probably remember him, but he was the announcer for David Letterman. His voice is probably recognizable to you.
Oh wow.
He was the announcer with Letterman for years, man. But yeah,
Bill Wendell.
Bill Wendell.
The voice.
Now, any callbacks, honorable mentions, or takeaways?
I don't have any. I didn't prepare anything specific, but I've been watching a lot of Denzel Washington 90s movies recently, just out of coincidence. They just keep popping up and I watch them. The motherfucker made some things that I feel like people don't know about. Did you ever see a movie called Fallen?
I did.
Great horror movie. John Goodman's great in it. There's another guy who I think played Casey Jones in Ninja Turtles, who's like he's like somewhat the villain in it. But I saw that. I saw what is that? I can't remember the name of it. But I was just watching a lot of Denzel, and I just want to bring that up to say I haven't seen him in something in a while that I liked. And the dude was just, I mean, murdering the 90s. We all know that, but I just forgot. You know, sometimes you see some of these movies you forget about, and it's just like, man, even his lower level, like movies like The Fallen, just fucking, he should have won some kind of award for it. It was that good.
It was a different Denzel. And, that speaks on his career, man, because he's got hits that are so big, you forget about a movie like Fallen, which isn't a bad movie. It pales in comparison to Malcolm X, Training Day,
Man on Fire. Even that's another.
American
That's
Gangster,
not from.
yeah.
Those aren't from that's not from the 90s. But I watched that movie too, Man on Fire. Fuck, dude. And it's kind of crazy because he sort of has like he has that Denzel way of acting, right? We all know what it is, the way he talks and stuff. Yeah, exactly. But it just sort of, it could be a different tone. It could be a different, like whatever the vibe of the movie is, but it always comes through. And I just somebody I haven't really thought about a lot recently because he's not doing a lot, but just a badass. So shout out to Denzel. We don't need to do that because he's a legend, but shout out.
And bitches still want to fuck him.
I mean, if we could all age as well as Denzel has, I mean, and I think he's stayed with the same woman, if I'm not mistaken, Steve. So the dude's just a straight up stand-up dude too, which is awesome.
That also adds to his longevity. You stay away from the distractions. You got a woman at home that loves the fuck out of you. She birthed your children, and she's an actress. I think she's more in the theater side. I think that's even better. She's not trying to hog the spotlight like some of these bald head hoes.
Plus, it keeps you honest. It's like if you got somebody that's been there for that long, they're like, oh, you're going to say that? Remember 20 years ago when you did this? It's like they can keep you humble. You know what I mean? Maybe that's a part of it too.
That's the best way to do it. Somebody who was with you when you didn't have shit. Look at Samuel Jackson, same woman this whole time. Had his babies. They've been married. And here we are. Samuel Jackson's got like 11 fucking projects on his IMDb. I can't even count them. I'd fall asleep.
He was just on Jesus and Mero talking about his career a little bit. And it's just like kind of crazy to think about his career and just when you hear him talk, it's almost like he doesn't have any, he's like, it is what it is. He's like, he talks more about like doing stage stuff and like coming up as like a stage actor. And it seems like everyone's like, you have such a prolific career. Like, isn't it amazing? He's like, I just say yes a lot. He's just like very humble about it. It's crazy. It's like if I was Samuel L. Jackson, I'd be like, suck my dick, suck it. Like, so it's cool to see, man. It's dope. And Samuel L. Jackson, another guy, you could go back to 1990, and you're going to see him in some shit killing it. So it's nice.
Now, my only callback is The Simpsons, man. On April 14, 1996, they're airing the episode 22 short films about Springfield. It's done in a serious manner, kind of like Pulp Fiction. and it got a lot of acclaim. It's considered one of the greatest Simpsons episodes out of their 30 plus years. And like it features just about every major character in it, man, which I appreciate.
I mean, it's strange whenever you look back on all those old episodes and like the ones that stand out in your head, and to think how long ago that was. And there's kids growing up now that probably have that same experience in an episode we never saw because we've checked out. You know,
Yeah.
It's too much. It's too much longevity. I do remember. I think I remember this one because we were talking about it, and you say it's in the style of Pulp Fiction, but there are actual like stories that are sort of parodying Pulp Fiction as well. Correct?
Yeah, with was it Wiggum and Snake? Yeah, they get tied up, and there's like a what do you call them? The rubber, the fuck
Gimp.
The Gimp guy. Yeah, they have like a Gimp like character.
Yeah, I do remember that shit. And also, I mean, everybody was parodying Pulp Fiction at this point. SNL was doing it. You know, everybody wanted to get a taste of that because how big and it got in pulp culture in general. So I love that Wiggum and Snake one though. That one stands out. I just remember them with like the ball gags in their mouth. You know, they pull that off.
Man. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Tell your friends about us. Tell your mama about us. This is Steve G and Matt G with Happened in the 90s.
Bitch.